Hello everybody, my name is Fishnet. This is going to be the team builder for week 2 of the IDL. We're going to hope to keep our win streak alive against the Mellowetos this week. So they started off the season with a loss, but we're not going to underestimate them. They have a scary team. Incineroar is a tier 1 pick for good reason. It's kind of scary. It can put out a lot of damage, it can go bulky, it can really shut down my Gardevoir somewhat decently, which is kind of scary. It also hits all 3 of my redirectors super effectively, which is also scary. Well, I don't know if it's going to be that relevant. I mean, it's strong and all, but I mean, that's like all it's got going for it. Like, I can play around it. Melodic is going to be interesting. Hard counters Landorus, which is our tier 1 pick, our first tier 1 pick rather. So we're going to have to, find some way to deal with that. Roserade is actually very scary, especially since he's got Porygon-Z this week. Or that's what he's picked for Z Crystal, rather. So this thing's going to be able to put out a lot of damage. Sylveon is always scary. Not many teams have fairy resists. This guy only has 2, I believe? Yeah, 2 in Malmile and Roserade. So, again, Gardevoir, I'm expecting it to put him work. He has 2 redirectors of electric-type attacks, which I'm going to have to play around when you see the team. Stoutland, I don't even know what that thing does. I should probably look that up. Pachirisu, we all love it, but I don't know how much work it's actually going to put in. Mesprit is just a weaker Cresselia. I don't expect it to do much. Gardegon and Girder are both weak 2 Gardevoir, so I am perfectly fine if he brings either of them. So let's move on to my team now. So this is what we're going to be bringing this week. You can see we still got this team over here on the right. So yeah, when I saw this team, the first thing that I thought was, hey, Porygon-Z could put in work. We can actually try to pull off a sweep here. So this team really has 2 modes that we're going to be going through. So the plan is use Jirachi to set up a situation where you got a boosted Porygon-Z next to a Gardevoir and do as much damage as possible. So let's go over that mode real quick. So we got Jirachi, Starfruit. Again, we're running safety goggles again this week, just because Sleep Powder Roserade is scary. We're running a pretty standard set. We got Iron Head for stuff like Sylveon and Roserade and, flinches, of course. We're running a slower set with U-Turn this week, and that's so that once we do boost up with Porygon-Z, we can, protect U-Turn safely out into Gardevoir. So that's the plan. Gardevoir, we're running another fast Gardevoir. Plan for this, again, is going to be to deal enough damage to pick up KOs after Porygon-Z puts them really low. And we also have Encore, so if they want to try to protect stall, we can probably outspeed them. This outspeeds, I want to say, every single one of their mons except for Manectric. Manectric is the only thing that outspeeds this. So if they protect, or they start to set up, or they substitute, or fake out, or whatever they do, we can Aqua them into that and go to town on the partner. So we got max defense because I think that just gives us the better chance of surviving Incineroar's Flare Blitz, and Incineroar is really scary. If we can get rid of that thing fast, I'll be happy. We've got Porygon-Z. This thing is going to be, hopefully, the star of the show. We're going to set up with Conversion Electric this week, even though he does have Manectric and Pachirisu. The reasoning for this is that Gardevoir does so well against those things, and we still have Ice Beam. So, I mean, I feel like I don't have to explain this thing very much. It's going to come in, it's going to set up, and then it's going to start dealing out so much damage that hopefully he won't be able to handle it. The spread will outspeed Manectric after a boost, rest in special attack, and then everything else into bulk. So that wraps up that part of the team. The idea is going to be lead Jirachi, Porygon-Z, follow me Conversion, protect U-Turn, and then Hyper Voice and Ice Beam Thunderbolt as needed until he's either dead or something gets messed up in the setup. I am not expecting to sweep his entire team with just this mode, but I am expecting to put in a lot of damage, so that's where we have these 3. So these 4 are going to come in after his team has been weakened a lot, and they're gonna close out the game for us. So we're running Assault Vest Entei, which is just, I don't know, Assault Vest gives us a lot of bulk, right? Like, he's got Sylveon, Milotic, Roserade, like a pretty decent amount of special attackers, and even the physical attackers Entei still does really well against. So we're running, the big moves on this set is going to be Sacred Fire. Obviously we can just chunk a lot of his stuff. Snarl could help, maybe against like a Sylveon or a Rosewood or something. We gotta be careful to not use that on the Milotic because competitive is a thing. Got Stone Edge for the Incineroar. It will 2-hit KO him through Intimidate. I think it will at least put him in range. It's 2 Stone Edges will do like 90% or something, so like we can hopefully do a little bit of chip damage before that. And Extreme Speed is just going to be there to clean up kills. The Spread probably survives something important. I'm not really sure what. It's probably an Incineroar move, or maybe Mawile Rock Slides. I don't know how much work Mawile is going to put in this week. Wouldn't be surprised if he didn't bring it, to be honest. Another pretty standard Amoonguss set. This is what I'm comfortable with, so I'm bringing it. Spread survives Adamant, Incineroar, Flare Blitz, which is nice. We can take that, heal right back up, and then maybe like switch out and take another one or something. So he doesn't really have anything that can stop us from putting things to sleep. We can just kind of sit there, put things to sleep, protect, right? You know, he's got nothing that can stop us from just using abusing this Amoonguss, essentially. I mean, he could substitute. I know he used that a few times last week, so that's something to be a bit worried about, but I don't know, we'll have to play around that, see what he brings, I guess. This is one of my favorite sets in the entire game. So we are running Meringue Berry Jellicent this week. So if I haven't explained what Meringue Berry does, or you don't know, you get hit by special attack and it raises your special defense by 1. This is going to let us deal with Manectric better, but most importantly, this is our answer to Sylveon. So we actually outspeed Sylveon, that's what the speed is for, so we can speed creep it. And we can Toxic it and just wait until it dies, essentially. It also does really well against Incineroar, Mawile, Milotic, everything except for the Roserade. I feel like Jellicent can just kinda beat, just straight up. Like, looking at his team, Incineroar is gonna do a lot of damage, but you know, we can protect that. Like, it's an obvious target. We can still do a lot of damage ourselves with Scald. Mawile, I mean, unless he runs Crunch, which I don't think he will. Hopefully he doesn't. Then Mawile can't really do much, especially if we get a burn with Scald. Milotic can't do anything to us, but we can Toxic them. Roserade is an issue. We beat Sylveon, this is our dedicated Sylveon counter. Manectric can do damage, but like, it's not too much, and this is where Meringue Berry is really going to help. Stoutland gets permanent. This thing, I mean, that's not going to put out damage. None of these are going to be putting out that much damage. So that's going to wrap it there for this week. Lead with these. Jirachi, Porygon-Z, set up, switch to Gardevoir, get as much damage down as possible, and hopefully like focus down the Roserade and Incineroar. And then when that goes south, because it probably will, we send in the Bulkymons and close out the game from there, because he probably won't have enough resources to deal with a lot of stuff. Like, I don't want you guys underestimating Jellicent. Like, this thing is going to put in work. I'm calling it right now. Just because, like, I've played games of VGC where I have KO'd one of their Pokemon, and Jellicent kind of won by default from that. They just had nothing that can touch it. So, I mean, it does kind of depend what he brings, right? But, like, let's say he brings the top 6, right? Then we KO Incineroar and Roserade, and that's like, I feel like we can do that with these 3, like, especially these 2, that's kind of what they're supposed to do. Like, we're almost setting up for Jellicent. It's really going to be, like, really a priority of the team, I guess. He's got Fire Name Z. That scares me with beating these 2, because they can KO either. But I think that's going to wrap up this week. We have a pretty solid plan in place, I think. It's my first time using Porygon-Z on like a full dedicated set of the Porygon-Z team like this before. I've never really used that. It's always been like just a small mode just to scare them at team preview. And it actually worked pretty well last week because apparently my opponent was really scared that I'd lead Amoonguss and Porygon-Z. And he like counter-led that, and that kind of put us in a good position right off the bat. So this time we're actually bringing it. We're not bringing Landorus T, which is kind of, I don't know. I feel like there were better options. And, you know, Milotic kind of hard counters it, and it kind of baits them into bringing Milotic so that other stuff, like, pretty much everything except for, like, Entei and Jirachi on the team beat the Milotic. So, that's good. And I think that's going to wrap it up. So this is our team, week 2 against the Melrose Meloettas. think we got a really good shot this week. I'm happy with the team, so see you guys at the battle.